Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is Thursday, May 21st, and I have the lovely Heather Vickery here. She has done a lot. She is the owner of Vickery and Co, the founder of Brave on Purpose, which is what caught my attention. I'm like, wow, brave on purpose. I want to be brave on purpose. She
Thank you.
also she also has two books out. One is Shift Your Focus, and the other one is Grow Grateful. They are gratitude journals. Shift Your Focus is for adults, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And Grow Grateful is for the kiddos.
Kids and families. Yeah.
I love it so much. So today we're going to talk about gratitude, and I imagine bravery is going to come in there as
It
well.
comes in.
Awesome.
It sure does.
When you're talking about gratitude, what do you tell people gratitude is? Because I think some people just don't quite understand what that means.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. So first of all, I just want to clarify that I am actually certified in positive psychology, which so psychology used to be this notion of going from bad to zero. And about 20 years ago, a scientist named Martin Seligman came in and said, well, there's got to be a way to go from zero to better. How do we actually get happy? How do we create more well-being and joy? Which is where positive psychology came from. And through the research of positive psychology, the number one thing that is scientifically proven to increase your overall happiness and well-being is a healthy gratitude practice. It decreases stress, anxiety, and depression. It also decreases your chance of having heart failure, right? Which all that makes sense. And it's scientifically proven. And so I started spending a lot of my own time getting to understand gratitude, what it actually meant. And then that's what led me to write the two books. So they're short books, and then they're 180-day guided entry journals so that you can journal and do the work yourself. There are two different things to keep in mind with gratitude. One is feeling grateful, and the other is expressing gratitude. So one is internal and one is external. And what the practice does for you is that it helps you rewire neurologically the way you think about things, the way you see things, and the way you process them. Because our minds cannot hold negative and positive thoughts at the same time. It's literally impossible. You can chase away negative when you usher in positive, and you can train yourself to do that more consistently. Doesn't mean you're not going to feel bad. It doesn't mean sometimes things don't suck. It just means you can process and move through it a little bit more quickly and feel better as you do it. So I would suggest starting pretty simple, which is with a daily gratitude practice. Now, I'm a success and leadership coach, and I tell all of my clients to only commit to things for short terms, because if you are going to try and do things, like if you're going to start a gratitude practice forever until the day you die, you're probably never going to start. It's like exercise or eating well or anything else, right? So start with a 7-day commitment where you pick a date, a time. Okay, right before bed, I'm going to list 5 things I'm grateful for and why, or I'm going to do it first thing in the morning, or I'm going to do it at lunch, or whatever works for you, and commit to doing it for 7 days. And at the end of those 7 days, check in with yourself and say, did I like that? How did that make me feel? Do I have an energy shift on it? Do I want to do it again for another 7 days? And eventually, hopefully you stick with it, it becomes a habit. And then you'll get to a point where you can always deepen your gratitude practice. So my journal is guided. It'll ask you, list the things you're grateful for. What are your wins and high fives? How did you express gratitude towards others? And then there is a 180 unique prompts to get you to connect with gratitude in surprising ways. What's your favorite childhood memory? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream? What made you laugh today? Like all sorts of different things. But you can do it on your phone. You can do it in a blank journal. My only thing is the science behind it only works if you take it out of your mind. You cannot just think it and have it work. You have to express it somehow, right? And then you can start to use it as a coping mechanism, an anxiety reducer. So if I find myself really anxious and stressed, I'll stop what I'm doing, take a couple deep breaths, and then find 5 things around me that I'm grateful for that I can touch, taste, see, smell, hear, like right in this space. And it gives me a chance to reboot. So you can deepen that. And it is a game changer. And you can build these habits with your kids, with your partners. I've started to reframe things in a gratitude-based way throughout my conversations. You'll start to notice negativity quicker and how to shift it. So I had a client once, this was hilarious. I like to close out a lot of my calls by having people list I usually say 10 things you're grateful for. And they always go, 10? That's a lot. And I'm like, well, if you can't find 10 things you're grateful for, we got bigger problems than whatever you came here for in the
Absolutely.
first place, right? But eventually they get to it. But this one client who said, and she just traveled, this was a few months ago. She said, well, I'm really grateful that the plane didn't crash. And I'm really grateful that my plants weren't dead when I got home. And we went through the whole list and I laughed and I was like, you made all of these positive things negative. Did you
Negative.
catch that? Yeah.
That was
I'm
the
like,
first thing I caught.
exactly. I'm like, how does it feel when I say, I'm grateful that my plane landed safely. I'm grateful that my plants were alive, right? Like she's like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that, right? So our words matter. How you express your gratitude matters. It's going to indicate how you feel about the thing. And it really gets you to start thinking about how to reframe. And so we talked about Brave. I host the Brave on Purpose Facebook group. I founded that. I host the Brave Files podcast. And my work as a coach is in helping people leverage their fear into intentional bravery. Because when we choose bravely on purpose, we choose bigger and we win bigger, and it's contagious to everyone around us. And so with gratitude, you start to go, it starts to help you try things that maybe were a little scary. You trust yourself a little more. You learn that there's a community of people to support you. There are more good things than bad things in your life. It does all of that. And it helps you lead into your brave because you have more actual evidence that you can try things
Yeah.
and that it's good to put yourself out there.
Yeah. I didn't really, I hadn't done a lot of actual studying on gratitude, and something that led me to understanding this, it was a complete accident, but it smacked me upside the head like, whoa. And so when my husband and I got engaged, I was actually in the middle of doing a Facebook Live video because I was cleaning the house. And he comes home and actually proposed to me during this video. He didn't know I was doing the video.
Oh, that's so funny.
Or he didn't know what I was doing on the video. He checked to see, is she doing a live? Because he had told himself the next time she does a live video, I'm going to propose.
Oh, that's so funny. That's awesome.
But I was talking about him. And it just ended up being the cutest, sweetest thing ever. He has this oral fetish where he's always got something in his mouth. And he chews on straws and turns them into these little, they look like snails. And he leaves them everywhere, right?
Oh.
This one comes out and a new one comes in. And or if he doesn't have that, then he's got a pen and he's chewed the end of the pen off and there's a little piece of plastic laying around. And it hit me as I was cleaning, and I was starting to get so frustrated, like, "Urgh." And then I was like, you know what? Every piece of plastic and every one of these straw snails and these dirty socks on the floor is because there's somebody here in my home who cherishes me. And I love that feeling. And I have goosebumps right now. I was
Me
so
too.
happy and in love with that feeling right then at that moment. I grabbed my phone and I started talking about it. About how grateful I was to have this amazing man in my life, and that it completely turned me around. And since then, I actually enjoy cleaning more. It's the weirdest thing. But I mean, when he walked in the door and proposed to me right then, it's like, you put good out in the world and what comes right
Good
back to
comes
you.
back. Absolutely. And I love that you use that as a reframe. I mean, first of all, I don't think failure is a thing. I think it's lessons. And I will always challenge anybody that I'm working with. Okay, well, what are your lessons in that? So that you can take something that starts to feel bad and find out how it can help you and support you. And so your ability to take something that frustrated you and turn it into a positive is really a wonderful gift to give yourself and to give him. And it shifts the energy around. Again, I want to be really clear that we're allowed to be frustrated. We're allowed to be tired and angry and mad, and we're still going to feel all of our feelings. And I am not suggesting that you just be happy all the time and find the positive all the time. You get to be pissed sometimes, right? But it's just a question of how long are you going to sit in that space, and if you're going to let it own you or if you're going to own it.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. And it makes a big difference. It makes a difference in your relationship with yourself. Then in turn, all of your other relationships. And
Absolutely.
that can be really scary for people. And that's where the brave comes in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Remember that bravery is not the absence of fear. The goal is not fearlessness. That's bullshit, by the way. Nobody's fearless except
Right.
3-year-olds and sociopaths. Fear is a natural human emotion. In a lot of cases, it saves our lives. Like, fear is not a bad thing, but it's often telling us something, right? We're on the precipice of something big if we're really afraid. So if you sit with that and you dissect that, you can learn a lot about yourself. And
Mhm.
so there is no bravery without fear. You cannot be brave if you don't have fear. They walk together, and you don't let that fear own you. You don't let it shut you down. You don't let it win. You move through it. And it's this incredible, empowering feeling that you can't get in any other capacity. And one of my missions is to redefine what bravery is. And it is not always climbing a mountain. It is not always quitting your job and starting your side hustle full time. It is not always having children. Sometimes for some people, it's getting out of bed. It's
Mhm.
choosing to eat an apple instead of a cookie. Sometimes it's going to Walmart if you have an anxiety issue. Like, there are a million ways to choose bravely every day, and they're all going to be different. Yours are going to be different than mine. And when you can consciously know, like, this thing I'm doing, this is a brave thing I'm doing, even if it's a little brave thing, it's like a train. The momentum just goes and goes and goes.
That is so, I mean, you can't deny that. You can't deny
No.
it. When you listen to that and you hear it, you just can't deny it.
Yep.
So I'm going to go back to that sometimes, just getting out of bed, because I actually am in your Brave on Purpose group, and I think it was yesterday, you said, let's do a this and.
Yes. Yeah. That was yesterday.
And it just so happened that the night before was a really rough night for me with my perimenopause symptoms. And um and it was rough. I woke up and I was sticky and just, I sweat all night and I didn't sleep well, and then insomnia. And I think my post was, perimenopause is kicking my ass
Yeah. Yeah.
with all the things. And um and then I said, and I love the wisdom that I have at 43 years old.
Yeah.
And it was that helped me just real quick shift. Yes, this is happening. And this is a
And
period in my life that I have to deal with.
mhm,
And I have the capacity to deal with it.
that's right.
And without it, I wouldn't have all of this wisdom and all of this great stuff. And that makes me think of Ada Calhoun's book, Why We Can't Sleep, which people, I know they get tired of hearing about it, but it's such a great book and such a profound message I loved what you said, that acting bravely doesn't mean that you have to do all the things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why do we
Yeah.
think that we have to do all the things? That's what her whole book is about, that. Why do we as women at our
Because
age, Generation X women, feel like we have to do all the things, and if we don't, we're not brave, we're scared, we are failures, we put all those labels on
yeah.
ourselves.
I do a lot of work with people around setting, communicating, and sticking to boundaries. And so when you're talking about doing all the things, just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? The self care element is really, really powerful. And I'm not talking about bubble baths and pedicures. I'm talking about deep breathing and taking a walk and drinking enough water and asking for what you want. Boundaries are self care. Boundaries are brave, because you have to really understand what you need and want from yourself and from others. And then you have to really communicate it. But if you can do that, you will start to. So, this was a magical moment for me in my life when I started to set boundaries and I started to ask for what I needed and what I wanted from people. Guess what happened? They showed up.
Mhm.
And the unexpected side effect was how tremendously supported and loved I felt. And I hadn't anticipated that. And so giving people the chance to support you and love you is as much of a gift for them as it is for you.
Yes. Oh, I love that. It brings tears to my eyes because, I mean, that's the conversation that I've had with a few of my friends. I'm
Hmm.
like, if you want me to know that I'm loved, let me in.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
share
We
with
want to
me.
support each other.
Yes.
We want to feel worthy and valuable. And it's secular because there are going to be times when you need to be the receiver, and there are going to be times when you're the giver. And that's how you build community. That's how you build connection. That's, we're human. We're made to do that.
Right. Right. We absolutely are. Um, okay. Well, we might have gone over time just a little bit, but that's okay.
Sorry.
No. I could talk to you about this all day. I am so appreciative that you are here today.
It's a
I'm going to put
pleasure.
all of your information down below so that people can contact you. We want to get people in the group. Is your group for men and women? Is it just a
It
women's
is.
group?
It is a group for anybody who wants to lean into their brave and choose to be brave on purpose. Yeah,
Fantastic.
anyone's
I love
welcome.
that so much. We'll make sure that everybody has that information so that you can contact Heather if you have any questions or comments, want to join the group, come on in, get that love and support, give that love and support, give what give more than you take, or at least
Yeah,
equally, right?
equally. Yeah.
So thank you all for being here today, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have sex coach Ashley Barnhart with us, and we'll actually talk a little bit more about what we just talked about today tomorrow as well.
Cool.
Um,
Thank you.
yep, thank you so much. We'll see y'all later.